G'day folks, I'm Wren, they, them, and this is going to be my best manga, graphic novels, comics of 2024. So I did this last year where I split my best books and best manga into two videos, and I'm gonna do it this year as well because I am a manga reader. I read a lot of manga and comics and graphic novels, and they're always a really good time. We're gonna do 10 of the best comics, manga, graphic novels that I've read this year. And number 10, we have My Love in Stitches. This was a webcomic that got published this year, and it was a fun time. So this is queer, which we always love that. And it's about this town full of monsters. And we're following Frankie, who is obviously a Frankenstein, and she's kind of looking for love, and she bumps into this pink blob girl, slime creature-esque person. It's hard to describe what she is, but they bump into each other. They definitely have a meet cute, but they don't get each other's name or any kind of information about each other, so it's like, oh no, missed out on that opportunity. And then through friends and just random people, they end up meeting up again, and then a little bit of a relationship starts, and it's a very cute romance. It's such a fun time. I loved all of the different characters and different kind of creatures as well that we got to see. Like, obviously we had a Frankenstein and a slime creature. We also had I think it was like a unicorn. We had a werewolf. We had a like walking skeleton. We had so many different characters, and that world just seems really fascinating to me. There was also a lot of humor in this, so I was thoroughly entertained throughout the whole time, and it was just like a sweet queer romance to go along with all the fun. Next up is The Sea in You. This is a graphic novel that is also queer, but it's a little less obvious. Maybe, I don't know, a bit complicated, but it is about this girl who is in a really abusive relationship, and she ends up meeting a mermaid. Like, they talk to each other a lot. There's a lot of sign language that happens because the mermaid can't speak, and so they use a lot of sign language, which was super cool. I love to see that. The mermaid ends up making a deal to become human and gets to interact with this human girl. They become very close. It's so clear that this mermaid has a crush on this human. Some things happen and she's kind of almost forced to go back into the sea, but stuff happens, and it was so good. If I was like back to being like a teenager, the human girl, I would have fallen for her so quickly. She's stunning and like exactly my type when I was a teenager. Oh my god. I did really like this graphic novel. It was a little bit dark with, obviously there is the abusive relationship, but also the mer creatures are a little darker than like Ariel, you know? And I am very much here for that. I am kind of in my like dark mermaid era right now. So I just want more of this because they were vicious, and I love that. For number 8, we have another queer one, and that is Monster Crush. This is a YA comic graphic novel, and it's about this young girl who is a werewolf, and she moves to this town where apparently there are a lot of like werewolf hunters. Scary. But she makes friends with this girl there, and they end up having this relationship, and it's super cute. But, you know, they only kind of meet in secret a lot of the times. There's a whole like secret organization thing that is happening that's very wild. I really loved this. Like, I love werewolves obviously, so I was probably gonna like this. But I liked these types of werewolves. They were really interesting, and I love there's this whole family dynamic that was super cute. The whole family is like ride or die, which is beautiful to see. The relationship between these two girls was also super cute, and really like, I don't know what you'd want from like a teen romance of just really being there for each other, like no big drama. It was just a really like nice relationship and I really liked them. But like the whole action stuff that is happening as well was also really interesting, and like I kind of want a volume 2. So for number 7 we have Dinosaur Sanctuary. I love this series. This is kind of like Jurassic Park but better. I love Jurassic Park, but I mean better as in things worked out. So in this, dinosaurs were rediscovered in modern times and now they are kept in zoos. This follows a particular zoo that's kind of down on their luck. They desperately need some funding and they've gotten a new hire who's really gung-ho about everything, and she's desperate to save this zoo because it means a lot to her, and like she loves dinosaurs. And it's really cool, like it's such a kind of cozy, I guess, manga, because there's nothing super serious that's happening. It's all just these keepers looking after these dinosaurs. And it's really interesting, like there is a lot of detail that went into real dinosaurs. You know, like a paleontologist was contacted about, you know, everything to do with dinosaurs, and they're represented as best as they can be according to, you know, what we know historically. And like the bonds that happen like between the dragons themselves but also with the dragons and the keepers, really cute, and it's just like an interesting thing to learn about, like, you know, being a zookeeper that just so happens to look after dinosaurs. Next up we have 49 Days. This was an arc I got off NetGalley and I did not know what to expect from this, but this is about grief, which if you've watched any of my videos you'll know I enjoy reading about. As long as I don't have to deal with my own grief, I'm good. But in this, we are following a main character who has died, and according to their Buddhist beliefs, they will be kind of in a limbo for 49 days until they go on to an afterlife. And we are following their journey in those 49 days of them grieving themselves, you know, coming to accept that they're gone and accept what happened to them, accept that they are leaving people behind. Very heartbreaking, but very healing at the same time. And then we are also following this person's family who are also grieving for these 49 days and, you know, grieving for the loss, learning how to move on and go on with their lives, as well as still honoring their family member. And it's so beautifully done that like my heart just is like singing because it was so beautiful. I know it's such a sad topic, but I think this really helps deal with the process of grieving. At number 5 we have Our Dreams at Dusk. This is a queer manga and we're following this young guy who in the first novel he is very closeted to the point where he pushes back whenever people are like, oh, you're doing something a little bit feminine. He's like, nah, slur word. Really offensive stuff. And then he hates himself for it because he hates when other people say that, but he just wanted to stay under the radar, so he says all these awful things. That makes him feel really awful about himself to the point where he is considering suicide. Before he can really do anything, he meets someone. They're either called Somebody or Nobody, something like that. But they're this very, I don't know how to describe this person, because at first I'm like, do they have some kind of magical powers? But I don't think they do. I think they're just a regular person. But they seem to collect strays of the queer variety. And they say to this guy, hey, come to this reach out center or community center thing. So this guy does, and he finds that there is a lot of other queer people that are just like meeting up in this place. And he kind of finds acceptance within himself. Like he is able to kind of let go of that internalized homophobia that he has and is starting to embrace who he is, and he's finally able to talk about it with like-minded individuals. This series is really emotional. I shed some tears in the first volume. In the second volume, my heart was hurting. I haven't read volume 3 or 4 just yet, but oh, it's gonna hurt when I do. But in such a beautiful way. Like, The stories that are being told are really, really fascinating and gripping and real, because these are real things that people are going through. Like, many different queer people are experiencing a lot of things that these individuals are also experiencing. And it's told in a really respectful way as well. This series is just, it's like a hug that hurts. In the best way, I promise. Then at number 4, we have another queer manga, and that is Old Fashioned Cupcake. This is about a 39-year-old man who is kind of stuck in a rut and is just very content with life. But that content is kind of depression. He doesn't really know how to get out of it until his younger co-worker comes up to him and just starts chatting to him, and they both see these teenage girls who are just like taking selfies, giggling, you know, having these really fun moments. And the guys are like, wouldn't it be fun to be able to be free like a teenage girl? And so then the younger co-worker is like, this is what we're going to do for an anti-aging treatment. We're going to go out and do something that teenage girls do. It's not as creepy as it sounds. Because what they do is, like, they go to a restaurant and they order something like really extravagant and like fun and colourful and really, really tasty. They do that and then they openly enjoy it. There's a lot of stereotyping around men not being able to freely express their emotions. And that's basically what this whole teenage girl experiment is just learning to be free with feeling happy and enjoying these random silly little things. Like, it's okay to do that. And so through this relationship of them like trying a whole bunch of different foods and taking selfies and being fun, they end up falling for each other. But the thing I love about this is this younger co-worker, we've seen since page 1 that he's already had a crush on this older guy. Because anytime like the older guy will like smile or say something cute, the younger guy is like, my heart. Or he's like having to like cover his mouth because he's just gonna lose his mind. And it's so, so cute. This is the best queer relationship I have ever read in a manga. It was phenomenal. Like, these two people genuinely love each other. There's no like forcing of anything, which you often get in BL manga, but in this it's just a loving, respectful, communicative relationship. I was squealing and giggling for the last like 100 pages. It was so good. And then there's a volume 2, which is all about their relationship, so I think I'll lose my mind, but in the best way. At number 3, we have Lunar New Year Love Story. This is a graphic novel about this girl wanting to do lion dancing. She's been obsessed with Valentine's Day her whole life. Things have happened recently where she's like, no more of this. I'm not going to participate in any kind of romance whatsoever. And she begins this lion dancing where, you know, she gets a boyfriend and she's like, oh, maybe, you know, he's the one for me. But she does have this kind of friendship with this other guy who's helping her with her technique with lion dancing. Just, it was so beautiful. Like, this is a love story, not a romance, a love story. And somehow there's a difference between those two words. But it was such a beautiful way of telling their romance journey and all the ups and downs of everything that comes with the complication of love and the different types of love as well, because this girl is also having a bit of a rocky relationship with her father and with like friends, and loving herself has also been a little bit difficult for her. You know, she's so connected to this lion dancing that it really helps her through all of these emotions. And I really loved learning about lion dancing. Like, I hadn't really had an interest in it before, but now I'm obsessed. And it was such a journey that this girl went on, but she learnt so much from it, and that was like pretty inspiring. But it was just stunning and beautiful and has some really great messages, and I just want to reread it now. At number 2, we have The Masterful Cat is Depressed Again Today. I was always really reluctant to read this manga because it just sounded weird, because it's about a cat that's like 6 feet tall and wears an apron and like cooks and cleans and like goes to the grocery store and is the one taking care of their human, because their human is a mess. It sounded too weird for me, and I was like, I don't know if I'm actually gonna like this. But Kirsty from Bookish got me to read it. Obsessed. I'm obsessed. I just really love when one character is taking care of another. Like, oh, it's so beautiful. And the fact that it's a cat, oh, it's so cute. But it's so cute, and like everyone that meets this cat like loves it. But this cat does have like black cat energy because it is a black cat. But it's just like, sometimes it's really like to like everyone, but at the same time I will reluctantly pat you, but also, and it's cute, it's a good vibe. And just, if you want just something really wholesome, read this manga. It's a really fun time and just super cute. I love it so much. And then the #1 best manga, comic, graphic novel that I read in 2024 is also one that Kirsty got me to read, and that is Sweat and Soap. I, again, was really reluctant to read this because it just didn't seem like my kind of thing. It was a romance manga between like cis straight characters, and I was like, aw, no gays. It sounded a bit weird when you give like the briefest synopsis of this woman sweats a lot, this guy has a super sniffer, and he likes sniffing her. Yeah, it sounds creepy. But this is without a doubt one of the most respectful relationships I have ever read about. Like, these two people care so much about each other, and they're always in each other's corner, you know? Like, they're always going to be there to support the other person's dreams and goals and all this kind of stuff, and they're going to be the one to help them through that. Like, there is nothing that could tear these two apart because of their deep love for each other. And it's just, like, it's the type of series that will make you believe in love because it's just so beautiful. I devoured it. I read the entire series. I bought the entire series because I'm like, I'm gonna reread these because it's so cute. Yes, it's weird that he sniffs her, but then it kind of becomes a thing between them. And she has moments where she's like, well, you haven't sniffed me in a few days. And then he's like, oh my God, can I? And she's like, well, no, now you're making it creepy. But it's this cute little dynamic between them. So it becomes less creepy the more that they interact with each other and the more that it just kind of becomes a part of their relationship. It's so sweet. Like, sweet and wholesome. There are some steamy scenes in there as well. But, you know, we're focusing on just this beautiful relationship blossoming. And it's beautiful. Like, I am at a loss for words at how beautiful it is. Please give it a chance. Despite the weird premise, please give it a chance because it's a fantastic time. But there we go. That is going to be it for the 10 best manga, graphic novels and comics that I read in 2024. Let me know down below if you've read any of these and what your thoughts were, and what was your best manga, graphic novel or comic of the year. I would love to hear it. So that's going to be it. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.